And Ryan, go with the theme song. Well, it was different this time.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's the way it goes. Right, this is the Immaterial Gamers podcast, which now does have a name.
Ooh.
And its name will now be the Immaterial Gamers podcast, just like it has been the previous 4 times.
Thank God, I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah, well, litigation is a bitch, but yeah, we've managed to just get it down to that. So moving forward, we don't have to sit there and think of silly names for it. So there we go. This podcast is being recorded on the 2nd of September 2018, which, is the week where I can now start counting the days to my 31st birthday.
Yes.
Christmas.
And thus your inevitable death.
Yep, one step closer.
To the edge.
To Christmas.
And you're about to break.
Yeah.
To Christmas.
Everything you say to me just takes me 1 year closer. Now,
To Christmas.
I've already seen Halloween decorations.
What?
So.
Yeah, you know what? Screw Halloween decorations. You know what? They can go. It's not October yet. It's September. It can be done. Any fuckers who are putting up Christmas stuff now needs to go.
Yeah.
It's September.
I will go there.
Ooh.
Okay then, Steph. No, don't go. We need you.
I'm coming to your house in a Christmas fucking jumper next time.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Reindeers and everything. Yeah, let's go with the introduction straight off. The first person there, Mr. Absolute Christmas himself. It's Masamuni113. It's Stefan. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, it's going good. How far is it till Christmas?
It is 3 months away and 2 months before we're actually allowed to talk about it.
Yeah.
Christmas
So,
embargo.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like reviews. You're only supposed to talk about them at certain times.
Yeah.
But yeah. Who else have we got? We've got our good old friend from across the sea. He's not managed to get his pirate boat yet to sail them all properly, but he's getting there. It's GeoffVader. It's Duncan.
Hi there, I'm the foreigner.
Hey, I'm father.
Oh,
Doesn't
right.
count.
Exotic Gibraltarish native Stefan.
I'm Gibraltarian,
Yep.
actually.
Gibraltarian, my mistake.
Oh well, it's all it's just all islands to me. But yeah, and last of all, we have our other good friend, the one with the microphone that is actually used for professional podcasting. It's the General. It's Steve.
Hi, everyone.
So
And he's from a wet rock.
What?
I said you're from a wet rock.
Yeah.
oh, what?
Hey, so are you.
Ah,
from
yeah,
wet
well,
rocks.
yeah, we live in the land of the storm.
Yeah.
Stormwind?
Uh-huh. No, and not much WoW talk this week, so it's all good. I've been playing a lot of it, but nothing more than could have been discussed in the depressing nostalgia trip that was last week. So we will go through our games that we've been playing this week. We've got some news that is a bit harsh, but has been the only real big stuff going on. We'll have PAX weekend stuff coming out, hopefully, that we can discuss, even though none of us have actually gone. But we've got that, and because it is the first week of the month, we've got the releases for this month. See if there's actually anything interesting, or playable, or fun.
Just be
Because
careful
that's
what we
usually
say.
a good thing. Oh, that's true what they say.
No, I said be careful of what we say. Remember, we're being bugged.
Ah, yeah, that was a weird one. Just a very, very quick aside. Stefan was discussing with me like a couple of days beforehand about a feature that he wanted in Digital Extremes' game Warframe, which since we're there, I might as well start first for a change, because I've been playing some of the Warframe again along with Stefan and Hell's Knights, our good friend D, and we've looked forward to getting more features added. One of them being the introduction of a newly built relay to replace ones that were destroyed in the events a few years back. To our surprise, because it literally came up 24 hours after Steph was saying, "I want relays rebuilding." There's now an event.
Maybe you should
for
just
those-
read the patch notes. I'll be able to probably find out what's happening beforehand.
Well, yeah, we could do, but where's the fun in that? I like the surprise.
The surprise.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. So for anyone who has lived under a rock the past few years and doesn't know what Warframe is, it is a third-person platformy shooter game involving what can best be described as space ninjas, developed by Digital Extremes, or as they just go now, DE. Makers of an old Xbox game called Dark Sector, which admittedly wasn't that great. But yeah, I've been playing it for years now and watched it grow from just being a list of places where you could send your ninja on a fight to a full-grown narrative experience involving not just space ninja suits, but weird war children and your friendly operating handler. Would you call her?
Yeah,
Lotus?
definitely. Yeah, she's a handler.
Handler, yeah.
She's like your nana.
Well, yeah. Storyline implications notwithstanding, which I'm not going to sit there and spell, because I know there are still people who probably haven't played it yet. Because they've had they've had their newest story experience called The Sacrifice about 3 months back. But yeah, it's nice to get back into a game where you just have to sit there, not think too much, and just mow down opposing factions of warrior clones that make up the Grineer. Dodgy, robotic people of the Corpus, and really bad salespeople. And then big evil things that decide that they're just infested and they just want to take over the galaxy
Forgot
that
what?
way. The infestation.
No, you forgot one.
Who else have I forgot?
The corrupted.
They're like side factions really now, aren't they? The corrupted and the other ones.
The other ones.
The Volumists, that set of
Oh no, they're Zegwiner still.
Nah. Well, there we go. But yeah, just nothing better than just flying around like a ninja and just going through stuff like that. So yeah, I'd like to play more of that. Wanna do more.
Yeah, you need to get the new frame.
Ah yes, the new frame that's come out that is called Revenant, related to story content from before the sacrifice, regarding Eidolons, which were another big feature. Kind of like Monster Hunter, but not. But yeah, I had fun with that. Getting back into the events, it's one of those where I just jump on and jump off. It's not something that can keep my interest forever, but when I do get on it, I go in it deep. So yeah, I've been playing some of that, and I couldn't help it, but I ended up playing some of the new Yakuza Kiwami reboot. So that's Yakuza Kiwami 2. I got my Kiryu on. Got people who just need the living daylights kicked out of them. I need stories about Japan and wanting to, start wars between rivals of organised crime bosses and being the one man who solves every problem in the game with his fists.
Don't forget about them Chinese people.
Oh no, that was Shenmue.
Oh, was it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
Yeah. Though they're kind of related. Like I went into one bit in Shenmue, which set in 1986, and there was a guy dressed in purple with a scarf over the top of him, and his character model basically gets updated and is used in one of the Yakuza games, which I think it was Yakuza 0. He's Kuze, bit of an annoying bastard. But then again, there are not many people in Yakuza who aren't annoying bastards. But I also spent my Saturday night running, and this is how crazy Yakuza can get, running a hostess bar.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Sounds like something you'd do.
Yeah, just sitting there employing a bunch of really pretty girls. And then getting them to deal with the whims of really depraved men. It's not a sex bar, it's a hostess bar. But given the fact that the game is set in a city which is likened to a red light district just without all the prostitution,
Where
then
all the
it's
fun go.
Well, yeah. I'll be discussing more Yakuza at some point. But yeah, that was the big games that I've been playing. Other than that, I've just been sat there going through the recent Humble Bundle of tabletop games and looking at Mysterium, and as a co-op experience, it's something that could be discussed a little bit more when we get people who actually want to play it. It's there, your sidekicks.
I have it.
You're trying to, well, there we go. You get more sidekicks who've got to solve a murder where one of the other players is the ghost and they can't communicate. I make it sound less enticing than it actually is, but as a concept, I actually think it's awesome. So people should try it, and that's me. So let's go around and do it in introduction order. So I'll go Steph.
Yeah, I've been playing Rainbow Six with our Sir GeoffVader.
Oh yes,
Well.
yes, Rainbow Six.
Yes, we found out Duncan's got really bad at it because he's not played it in a bit, and I seem to be good.
Yeah, apparently my skills in first-person shooters deteriorate much more rapidly than Stefan's do.
Thing is, though, once you gain it, you kind of outplay me quite easy.
Been going into the old normal matchmaking again then?
Yep.
Play casual. I don't play ranked. Unless I can get a team.
Trying to resharpen our skills in preparation for that DLC that's supposed to be coming out.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the new one.
Good old Grey Sky, Grim Sky, was it?
Grey Sky.
Grey Sky, Grim Sky, Grey Fox. Oh, there we go. There's 6 degrees of separation for you.
Did somebody say Great Fox? I love Star Fox. Starwing, sorry.
Well, no, because that wasn't even the right Grey Fox.
You said Grey Fox, I was thinking Metal
I
Gear.
said Grey. Yeah, Cyborg Ninja himself. That's right, Raiden. No, no, that's a rabbit hole. Okay, so yeah, what are your mains now for Rainbow Six?
As an attacker, I am Fuse or Glaz. I'm a Russian.
Yeah.
Well,
Makes sense.
For
He's a good
defense,
one.
I go for Legion.
He always says Legion. It's actually Legion. He just always mispronounces it.
Leave me alone.
Well, it would have been different, wouldn't it? World of Warcraft Legions. Now, I said we weren't going to talk about World of Warcraft.
I am Legion, for we are Asian.
Oh, no.
No, it's alright. We're already banned in China. How much worse can it get?
Banned in Japan?
Oh boy.
Wait,
And Korea.
when did we become Monster Hunter?
We established this
Since
during
we
an
started
episode.
saying stuff like this.
Yeah, it was established in the
I
other
know.
one.
Yeah, so what are your mains then, Duncan?
I kind of bounce around a lot. I don't really have like mains. I'm a fan of Valkyrie on defense, and as well as Ella. For attack, I bounce around a lot in attack. I like Blitz. I like Hibana. I've been doing a lot of Hibana lately.
You play a lot of Twitch.
Yeah, I was really sad when there was a point when I just got Hibana, and I just went on the most outrageous win streak and killing streak of all time, where like I was at a point where my win, like you get a statistic on your character that tells you like what your KD is and your win rate is. My win rate for Hibana was like 5. And my kill to death ratio was like 7.5. And there was a moment where I genuinely, seriously considered retiring that character forever, just so I would always have a character with those stats forever.
The good old retired champion way.
And
Yeah,
then
but
of
when-
course it just went down the shitter, and now it's just normal.
But don't they reset it when they do the seasons?
Do they?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I don't think they do.
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
I hope
I think
not.
It's like, no, my stats.
I have good.
I don't want my stats. No.
I've got good stats with Sledge and Glass. I don't want to lose them.
Oh well, it may have to happen. That's a shame. So what else have you been playing, Steph? Other than like Warframe with me, Siege with Duncan.
I literally think that is it. I do
Okay.
not think I've played anything else this week.
Fair enough. Right, so moving round, we've got Duncan. So other than Siege with Steph, what else have you been playing?
Well, I'm glad that I got my siege part out with Stefan, because I've pretty much got everything that I needed to say or wanted to say about that taken care of. So I can focus on other things I've been working on. Shortly after the last podcast that we recorded, I played a little bit of a new game with my cousin Terry, who I don't think he hasn't been in any of our content yet, has he?
No, not as of yet. He's just been very unavailable.
Yeah,
Would be the word, wouldn't it?
he's technically a member of Immaterial Gamers, despite being not actually in any of its content. He's the phantom member, I guess.
Yeah, he's the sleeping partner of the group.
We've got content getting ready.
Yeah, it's not happened yet, but that's more stuff. I might just throw a couple of minutes to talk about sort of upcoming stuff at the end. But yeah, so you were mentioning this game, and I think I know which one it is.
Yeah, it's a early access game on Steam called, what is the actual title? Let me look at it. It's Feed and Grow Fish. Yeah, there you go.
Feed and Grow Fish.
Yes, it's technically like Feed and Grow fish. You know.
Right. So it's almost like there's going to be other sets like Feed and Grow Dinosaurs.
So the very basic idea of the game is you are a fish, as well as all the other human players are also fish. And your objective is to eat other fish, both human players as well as AI controlled fish in your aquatic environment, be it a pond, a swamp, or a coral reef, whichever environment you choose. And as you eat the fish, you grow larger and you earn coins, which you use to buy bigger and more exotic fish. And you use that to repeat the process. It's essentially kind of like a 3D version of Agario.
I know about that one.
I was about to say it sounds a bit like sort of a 3D version of Feeding Frenzy.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's kind of what inspired Agario or whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So those sort of old sort of Flash and then web games where just the idea was eating something smaller than you to grow bigger and just watching out for the bigger stuff, because it was just a case of whoever was bigger ate.
Now,
the game
I'll
has
admit,
a flaw.
yeah, I'll admit it was amusing for about an hour or so, but within a very short period of time, we noticed a myriad of problems, we'll say. First and foremost, that was most frustrating, was we discovered that servers are region locked as of this stage in development, which meant that Stefan was unable to play with us and join our server that we made.
I am shaking my head so much at this moment. Why have we got a situation at the moment where region locking is a thing? I understand. This is just this is Ryan's brief rant. I understand a thing with sort of MMOs and the region locking of that. I know there's a lot of licensing issues and different publishers pick them up, and that sort of segregates people that way. But this is, as you were saying, an early access game that anyone can download.
Yes.
And buy.
Yep.
And they're region locking.
Yep.
That doesn't sit well with me.
It's a bit of an odd one, that.
Yeah. So it's region locked, so that's immediately a turn off. On top of that, the game itself is very buggy. It's not, because it's a 3D, feeding game. There's often difficulties. It's very difficult to aim your fish and eat the other fish. You often will swim past fish as you're trying to bite them, whereas other times you might feel like you're nowhere near the fish, and then you'll just sort of fly over to the fish and randomly grab onto them. And it's it can be hard to, and there's also a mechanic where if you are a certain amount bigger than another fish, normally you have to bite a fish and kill it before you can actually eat it. But if you're so much bigger than a fish, you can just swallow them whole.
Yeah.
And it can be kind of ambiguous as to how much bigger than you a fish needs to be in order to do that. And so sometimes you might think you can fight a fish fairly, and then all of a sudden they'll turn around and just swallow you whole, and then you're dead.
So it's yeah. I mean that can be something to say at that point. That's the risk of early access. I think we discussed that on sort of the first podcast of stuff in early access phases. It's it's more of a case of, do they have the goodwill of people to fix that, and was it functional enough in the first place to actually warrant being on the store?
There's other problems with it too. Like when you kill a fish, they turn into like chunks of meat floating around in the water, and you eat these chunks of meat in order to grow and progress in the game. But frequently, almost anytime you kill something that's more than like a couple of chunks of meat big, you'll end up with a situation where there will be like phantom meat floating around that you can't eat or interact with. It's just there, and that gets annoying really fast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think that that's something that they could fix?
Probably. I mean, that I can attribute to just being, early access, bad, not properly optimized and all that crap. I can understand minor glitches like that, but honestly, I just find the game itself to be not terribly enticing. At this point, I mean, early access, whatever, they don't have their whole game finished yet, but at this point in the game, there just isn't really enough to go off of to really keep you engaged. You eat fish, you get bigger, and then you get eaten by a fish, and then you die, and you start over from the beginning. The only thing you keep is your coins, which you use to buy fish.
Yeah.
And, that mechanic is entertaining for, 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time, but I don't see that being justification for a $15 US price tag.
Oh, bloody hell.
Which, in all likelihood, is only going to go up post-release. Even if it stays the same, it's like, do you really want to spend $15 for what is, what may or may not be debatably a better or worse version of Agario?
Yeah. That's the thing. So you're saying, 15 US, we're looking at 11 of Great British pounds.
Yeah. And that's an approximation based on the fact that I spent $16.99 Canadian on it, so it's probably about $15, maybe like 13, 14, whatever, But, I mean, this is a free game that you can play instantly on, your web browser.
Yeah, sort of any .io site, really.
Yeah, and those games are, I mean, for as simple as they are, they're mechanically sound. They work the way they're supposed to, in the way that you expect them to.
The developer is Old Blood. What else do they do?
Yeah, what are they? Are they a new developer or stuff like that? I mean,
the only thing they've got is that on Steam.
Yeah, well, publisher Greens SRO, again, the only thing they've published. Yeah, and longevity is certainly a thing. I'm not part of the, because a game costs X much, it should last X amount of time. But there needs to be something that entices for that amount.
Yeah, well, it's like, you compare that to another, or, people say, oh, it's early access, they haven't released all the features yet and all that, but it's like, I mean, you compare that to, like, another early access game that most or all of us have played at some point or another, a little game called Ark, Survival Evolved. That game released for, I want to say, somewhere in the mid-$20 Canadian range, so about 50% more than this price tag. And I mean, you know what? There were lots of problems. It was glitchy, and it doesn't have as much stuff as it does now. But there was a game in there. Like, there was stuff to do and things to keep you occupied for hours and entertained for hours. We sunk a good 20 hours into it before they ever had their first DLC or patch on Ark. There was just I don't feel like there's enough going on for that game right now to justify the price tag. I would wait at this point to see if they come up with more features in later in stage of development. At this point in time, it's a no for me. It's I do not recommend personally.
Yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough. And did you, other than that misfire on there, was there anything else that come
Uh,
up this week?
I don't have much to say about it yet. I have recently played a little bit with my sister. I've been playing a game called Ni no Kuni on the PlayStation 3.
Oh yeah.
It's a few years old.
The,
Came out in 2013, I want to say.
it was the Level 5 and Studio Ghibli collaboration, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's a game that my sister really likes, and she's been wanting to get me into it for a while now, and I finally just started a file. It's a pretty fun action JRPG, kind of in the vein of a little bit like Kingdom Hearts, but with a little bit more like Pokemon going on. Like you have your summons that you throw out that fight for you in a 3D environment. There's a little bit of the like Final Fantasy-esque like timed attacks thing going on, and it's a pretty fun game. I do have one, like from a gameplay standpoint, there's one mechanic that bothers me, is that the movement control for your character is from the left thumbstick. But in addition to that, you also cycle through a list of commands to issue to character, whether it's attack or defend or use magic or use an item or whatever, and that is controlled with the directional pad, which is also on the left side of the controller.
I was just about to say at that point, it's like, right, so you're going to end up in a game where it's probably action focused like Kingdom Hearts, where movement and positioning is sort of as key as the attacking.
Yeah, and it's like it's slow enough that it's not like oh my god, how can a human respond at these speeds? Like it's for the most part the action is slow enough that it's not like detrimental, but it is like there are times where I'm like, man, I really wish I could move and go through my commands, like why isn't this attached to like my L buttons, why can't I scroll through my options with L1, L2, and then move with my left stick? It would just feel so much more fluid if that was the case. Someone could want to set up an attack while moving at the same time. You go back to Kingdom Hearts as the comparison point, they have this, they're they kind of have the same problem, but at the same time they have like the hotkey commands, like where you can have pull up quick menus.
And
perform
bind stuff to that.
Yeah, perform your most common actions with 2 button presses without sacrificing your mobility, and that's a good way of getting around that kind of mechanic. But Ni no Kuni, to my knowledge, has no such feature, and it's a little bit frustrating.
But still, it's a very sort of charming game.
Yeah, it is.
Sort of in that Studio Ghibli way as well.
Yeah, it is. You can't deny the art is very nice. The acting is very nice. It's a cute, fun, very pretty game. Yeah, it has a fantastic soundtrack. I love the full orchestral music. It's pretty solid. I've only played a couple hours of it so far, but so far I'm overall enjoying it. The combat's just a little bit unintuitive.
Nah, that's fine. I mean, I don't know if they managed to solve that with a second, but it's still. I think that's a sort of like a niggle I could, provided everything else is sound, just really, just sort of discount, at that point. So if hopefully you get a few more hours into it, it might be more fun, something that you'd be able to sort of get over, really, innit?
Yeah.
Fair enough. That leads us to Steve. I know it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But what have you got for us this week?
It's kind of a throwback, a little bit anyway. Played a bit of Rocket League the other day. Played the Mayhem mode, and I have to say, it's having played it for the first time. It's quite interesting having all the powers to try and stop other players from getting the ball in. It was a lot of fun.
Football
Yeah.
with RC racers mixed with Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's how it should be.
Oh man, I mean, look, this is the thing with Rocket League on there. Is like, again, if you've not been, if you've been living under a rock, Rocket League is a generally 3-on-3 football/racing game. I know that sounds weird in my head when saying it, but yeah, you do acrobatic moves with your car to knock an explosive ball into your opponent's nets, using acrobatic chicanery to get the job done. And they've added little modifiers and mutators. Have they had anything other than my favourite mode on there of Snow Day, I think it's called?
I'm sure there's been a few things, but I just played a few games really. But the Mayhem mode I found quite interesting, to be honest, because like I say, first time playing it, and it's like, got all these powers. It's like, what do each one of them do? The first time I used an ability, I unfortunately kicked the ball in my own net because I didn't realise what the ability was going to do. But other than that, it was quite a fun experience.
Oh, which ability was it then that caused that to happen?
The kicking one, where you can kick things. I kicked it into the wrong
boot.
Yeah.
Oh man, no, I had my favourite on there. It was just being the boxing glove. It was just like
that one's okay.
Yeah, someone's about to just race towards the goal. Oh look, now you've punched them across the stadium.
Yeah.
It's all good. I remember when that first came out though, and it was Mayhem. The first maps that they'd be using it were in the testing labs. Maps. So it was just odd design of maps along with odd game mode equaled, well, odd. I don't know how much more maths is required. But no, were you having fun with it though? Okay.
Silence.
That was silence. That was awkward silence.
I think
And
the general died.
No, mate, I'm here. That's pretty much been the only game I've played. In the past week.
I was just asking if you had fun with it. Okay,
wow. Okay, that's like a trigger question.
I
didn't hear the question properly.
I said, did you have fun with it?
Yeah, I had fun with the game. Yeah.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. Sorry. Just you might cut out, so I didn't hear the question. It's fine. I enjoyed it. It's been fun.
Alright.
Other than that, though, I've not really played any of the games in the past week. I got Civ 5 finally. I finally got Civ 5. Been playing that.
The best Civ game.
Yeah.
Get ready to not play any other games.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, Europa Universalis does that with me. I've already done 800 hours into that thing, so.
What?
Yeah.
800.
Let me just double check that actually on Steam. Europa Universalis 4 is 809 hours.
Oh god. And I can't say much. I can't say much.
Crusader Kings 2 is just as bad at 500 hours. It's just because both of them games, you can just play it so many times, and you've got so many different ways you can go about it. Different styles you can play, different characters to play with. It's one of them. But it's a grand strategy game, so it'll take ages to do each campaign anyway. Because you have hundreds of years to play with in both games. Was it 700 years in Crusader Kings 2 and 400 years in Europa 4, so...
Yeah, you see, I told you I couldn't say much about, hours put into a game. Warframe. You've played 1,106 hours. 1,106.
You played what?
1,106 hours. Go on, tell me how much you've been playing. I want to convert this into days.
1,656.
Oh, God. I think I've probably played for about 1,600 and odd hours. Like games? Ever. I think I've probably played about that much.
Oh, yeah, according to this, 1,656 hours is equivalent to 69 days. So, nice.
You should probably stop then.
I played Warframe more than I have Ark.
Wow.
Well.
By 400 hours.
Oh God. Right. So yeah. Speaking of stuff that's been long awaited and long played, let's move on to the game releases for this month. There are quite a few.
I don't know this list.
So I will go down from what we've got. So September the 4th, we've got quite a few. We've got Destiny 2 Forsaken.
Yep.
We'll move on from there. We've got well, you know.
I might be getting it on PC.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll be getting it when the rest of us don't want it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off.
Right, okay.
It's just.
I'm gonna wait until it's released, and then I'll hear about it, and then I'll make my decision.
Yeah.
I would, yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of pre-order culture anyway. There's rarely a few that I've done.
I've been burned by pre-orders. I mean, look at Fallout New Vegas when that came out. That was a broken mess. Same for Assassin's Creed Unity as well. Both were pretty poor on release.
As a person who's played Obsidian games, you should have saw that coming. Did you play Alpha Protocol?
No.
Oh, you want to define buggy mess? There you go.
I lost 2 hours of gameplay on Fallout New Vegas because I fell through a floor.
I lost 20 hours of my life.
Okay, that's not good.
I got burned by pre-order runs. As a huge fan of the Star Fox series, I pre-ordered the what the hell is it called? Star Fox Zero for the Wii U.
Oh.
Because I was like, oh, I'm so excited! Star Fox game, it looks so cool. Wow, what a fucking turd! Oh my God, those are probably the worst controls I've ever seen or played for a video game ever. You couldn't describe to me verbally worse controls that were less intuitive than those.
What about Kid Icarus Uprising?
Yeah, I've never played Kid Icarus Uprising. I don't know anything about the game other than that it exists.
Oh, just have a look at it after the podcast.
Can I ask a question?
You want unintuitive controls? There you go. Yeah, Steph.
What date is 2H 2018?
What?
What's the release date of 2H 2018?
There isn't a release date of 2H.
Well, according to Steam, there is. I thought I'd look at what's coming soon.
Yeah, 2H.
Release date
2 hours.
2H. That's what I thought, but it normally has a timer. But when you go on it goes available in 2H 2018.
Oh wait, I've got it. Second half. In other words, that is the most optimistic date ever. Oh, it'll be sometime in the second half of 2018.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And then people are like, well, we're halfway through the second half, so it's going to be sometime in the last quarter. Now we know even more. It's like, you really don't.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better. You know, I've saw stuff like Q4 2018. Okay, so you know it's going to be in the winter.
Yeah.
But no, just silly. But let's look at confirmed stuff that we've got at the moment so far. So we've got Dragon Quest 11, the 11th Dwagon.
Dwagon. I want my Dwagon.
Dwagon Ball. Dwagon Ball Z.
Oh God, Dwagon Ball. Yeah, so what else we got? Genesis Alpha 1, never heard of it. Moonfall Ultimate for the PC, PS4 and Switch. Ninjin Clash of Carrots.
No.
I can only assume that's to do with Ninja Carrots, and that's about as much we've got. Project Alpha, Zone of the Enders, the second runner, Mars. So they're re-releasing Zone of the Enders again.
Yep.
Immortal Unchained. No. Us Europeans are getting Little Dragon's Cafe, a game that's already been out everywhere else. Marvel Spider-Man. There we go, that's a big one.
That is a big one.
Insomniac, the guys who made Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Doing a Marvel Spider-Man game. It may be good.
I've never really found any of the Spider-Man games interesting.
No, me neither.
I liked the open world aspect to Spider-Man 2. Just it wasn't for me at the time. But yeah, maybe worth a look. Oh yes, of course, it's sports series. It's sports season because we're in September the 7th now. So we've got NBA 2K19, NBA Live 19. They can disappear in their sports way. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy. Oh, good, more fighting games. V-Rally 4? Surely that's a port.
Possibly.
V-Rally games were out when I was a young video gamer. Boundless in September the 11th, along with NBA 2K19 for those who didn't buy the pre-order bollocks version. BFF or Die, September the 13th, along with Megaquarium.
Megaquarium.
Yeah, Megaquarium. Let's have a quick look at that. What is Megaquarium when it's around? Probably something about being in a giant aquarium. But, you know.
Sounds like the fish game. Feed and grow
Yeah,
fish.
no, a theme park management tycoon game with an aquatic twist.
Okay.
See, that sounds interesting. I need to make note of that.
Where all the people seem to have really large heads in proportion to their bodies.
That happens in every game like that, though. If you actually look at like Theme Park World and shit like that, the characters, the heads always look bigger than their actual bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. And then we got...
It's for when you go in their view, the camera can fit on their heads.
Yeah.
Oh, good old first-person mechanics. So what else we got? Black Clover Quartet Nights on September the 14th. Along with
I've seen the trailer for that, and
oh yeah,
I like the show. I love the show, actually. I watch it every week.
Based off an anime, then?
Yeah, and it is only PvP from what I've seen of the trailer of that.
Oh, pass. That's a shame.
Hard pass on the PvP.
Now, PvP can be an option, I just don't like it being a focus.
From what I've seen and from what I've heard, it's the focus, but it may change.
Maybe, see how it goes. What else have we got here? NHL 19, more sports. Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Yes.
September the 14th. I haven't finished playing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I haven't finished playing the very first Tomb Raider game.
Yeah,
I have not played a Tomb Raider game.
Haven't you?
No.
I played the original ones on PS1, but I've not played the current generation Tomb Raider games.
Duncan's so pure. He's never had to deal with triangular tits.
Cone tits.
Hey, just because I never played Tomb Raider doesn't mean I haven't had to deal with triangular tits before. You underestimate my power.
Fair enough. Going down the list, we got the Bard's Tale 4, so more pointy, clicky, adventure-y stuff. September the 18th, along with Fishing Sim World. That sounds like a blast. Then again, this is coming from a person who can sit there and play Euro Truck Simulator and not have a care in the world.
I couldn't play any simulator. I could probably play Goat Simulator, but that's not a simulator.
No, that's a parody of a simulator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Scribblenauts is still around.
Okay.
We've got the Scribblenauts Mega Pack coming out on September the 18th, along with 60 Parsecs. That sounds like a parody of a space flighty game. Let's have a quick look. See, this might be stalling. Oh, right, okay. It's basically the sequel to 60 Seconds. The game where you had 60 seconds to get as much survivability stuff and put it in a nuclear shelter before a nuclear apocalypse happens, and then see how long you live afterwards. So I'm going to assume that's going to be the same thing, is you've got 60 parsecs to get a whole bunch of space stuff before a space catastrophe happens.
Even though parsecs is a measurement of space and not time.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know. I don't design the game. I don't give it the name.
It's like you can range from 60 parsecs of space land to get all your supplies. Like, wow, that's a fucking lot of space, honestly.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh well. And then we've got 8-Bit Armies, September 22nd, along with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, The Golden Country. Could it have any more in its name? Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, The Golden Country, 2nd Edition, Ultimate.
I don't know. I mean, some games do have really long titles.
Oh, yeah.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Electric Boogaloo at the end. There we go, that'll do it. This is the Police 2, the sequel to the game This Is the Police.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, just thought I'd make sure. Valkyria Chronicles 4, the game that made me realise that there was more than one Valkyria Chronicles game, September 25th, along with the PC version of the port of V-Rally, possibly, unless it's a brand new game. I don't know. Life is Strange 2, Episode 1, Part 4, September 27th. Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
Yep.
It's for the Switch, September the 28th.
Wow.
FIFA 19, no one cares,
Nope.
September 28th. And Namco Museum Arcade Pack, again, September 28th. And one missing one from that list is Spyro Reignited Trilogy, because they delayed it for 2 months.
Yeah.
So it now comes out in November, still with only a third of it on the disc, most likely. But
Alright.
yeah, that's all the reviews. So time to go through some very quick gaming news before we wrap this up. Then,
That took a
Yeah.
shockingly long period of time.
yeah, I wasn't expecting it to take that long, to be honest. But then again, we had like about 35 minutes of gamey talk, so let's see where we go. So let's go with the first one, the awkward one, the one that we really didn't want to discuss. The one that happened about 4 hours after we finished recording last week.
Yeah.
And that was the news of a video gamer opening fire at a qualifying tournament for Madden 2018, or Madden 19, something like that. It was basically a Madden game. The fact that we know on this is that it was mid-tournament, it was being streamed on Twitch,
Yep.
a man walks in, kills 2 people, injures 9 others, turns the gun on himself. Then there was the rumoury stuff, which still, to this time, hasn't been fully confirmed. But it was that he was a competitor at the tournament, and the rumour is that he got eliminated in said tournament and decided to just open fire. Which, if that is true, means there's a lot to be discussed about security at an event. I mean, this was in America, so you know what? I'm going to say it. Don't expect much. Sorry, that was a very short Ryan rant there. If you want a high security an event, you need to prevent guns being in there in the first place. But you're not.
Yeah.
So why bother?
They definitely.
I mean, it's got to the point where rather than looking at guns being the problem, survivors of the shooting are actually suing the venue and EA for it being an unsafe venue. Yeah, size abound everywhere. Rather than dealing with the mental health implications, the gun issue, just blame the fact that it was the place itself.
Yeah, I read about that. It's not a great one. There definitely should have been more security there, but again, there's also the point, guns shouldn't have been in the place anyway.
No.
It's
And
it is bad
and-
that everyone blamed the venue itself, and they should have been looking into every other side of it, which is the mental health, like you say, and also
well, also problematic on it was the fact that they were actually blaming the game.
yeah.
Also, sort of the game tournaments, like, no, look, you see, this is the reason why games need to be regulated and stuff like that. It's a game about American football.
Yep.
That is America's biggest pastime.
But it's like, imagine, you're in a restaurant, right? And some dude walks in and without a word of explanation, stands up on a chair at your table and pisses in your soup. It'd be like if you were to be like, then blame the restaurant for not stopping the guy from pissing in your soup. It's like, why didn't you stop the guy? It's your job to stop the guy from pissing in my soup. You should have a
It'd be worse.
policy
It'd be like-
against people pissing in other people's soup. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like what?
It's like at the worst point there, you'd actually sue. You then basically suing for the poor quality of the soup, which now has piss in it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like, I demand a refund. Well, I mean, you'd probably get one in that situation.
Well,
But that's where it kind of falls apart a little bit. But, I mean, yeah, that's essentially what we're getting.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we're sort of dealing with violent people at normal games level. So if this is what's happening there, and it's not legitimising the eSports, which could actually become a proper thing. It's still almost there. But then it's just dealing with sort of world culture and situations like that prevent stuff. And just using the games and the venue as the fall guy is not in any way the way to solve the problem. It's not. And I know there's also the other response on there. It's like, yeah, but we need these guns to protect each other, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, how's it going to stop you? Look at you getting stabbed all the time and having people drive cars at you and all that. And I'm like, no.
Did you see what came out 3 days before that shooting?
No.
That in America, you can actually buy a backpack that has a bulletproof vest inside it where you can pull it over your head. That came out 3 days before that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It shouldn't even be necessary. It shouldn't.
No.
The fact that it's now, now we can deal with big sales of protection and stuff like that. It's like, no. Sort out the guns, sort out the stuff. Make sure you've actually got a medical system in your country that actually helps people do this, so they don't turn around and fire a fucking gun at people just trying to, live their lives. But I'm just a dumb person who's probably just going to get stabbed in the street.
No.
Put up a metal detector outside the bloody venue, man. It's like
that would have been a good solution.
It's like, hey there, what's that in your pants? Oh, it's a gun. Yeah, you're gonna have to leave that here, sir.
Yeah. But still,
let's see you try ambushing 6 armed security guards who know that you have a metal thing on you.
Yeah.
Pull it out before you get to the metal detectors. That'll surprise them.
Mm. Yeah, that was really depressing on there. So let's just look at slightly less depressing. The president of the International Olympics Committee has still stated, under no circumstance are eSports going to be part of the Olympic Games.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that no, there should be no game in the Olympics that can support the killing of other people in the games.
Yeah, but you have a thing. To me, Olympics is more physical achievements, not.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
not a mental type thing, because playing games tends to be a mental thing.
Yeah, mental acuity, stuff like that. Yeah, it goes there. I wouldn't want esports in the Olympics for just that particular reason. Though what he's saying is just silly. It's just like basically saying, because there is one game where you can kill people, therefore no games are there, because they all are on the same sort of idea. This sort of tarring everyone with the same brush. Just good old, assumptions and just poor research, really. I mean, like I say, it shouldn't be an Olympic sport because it's its own different sort of thing. Legitimise esports by all means. I think it's something that could that's different, provides a different form of entertainment, and gets people interested in stuff that way. And it's like it's been happening in South Korea for years.
Right.
The old StarCraft, that was proper stuff like that, and you could do stuff like that. I mean, it's gone to a point where I'm sure I saw an advertisement on my Facebook that was saying that in select cinemas in the UK, you could watch the League of Legends World Championship Finals.
Yes. That's today, I believe, or yesterday. It was this weekend.
Yeah, there has been something about it recently.
The View in town, you can watch it.
There's also something to do with the Destiny 2 release as well. Like part of the pre-release thing, you could go to cinema and do it.
Yeah, but it's that sort of idea of sort of cross-media coverage. I actually enjoy that. I mean, it was only a couple of years back that I was sat there watching League of Legends, the group stages of the finals, and they were done on a stream on the BBC.
Was it?
It had a Radio 1 DJ presenting the coverage. It was Dev from there, who's apparently a big gamer anyway. But yeah, it was BBC 3, and BBC Online. You could get coverage of it. Just for the group stages. The rest of the finals were held on Riot's own thing, but yeah. No, but more of this. We're not saying it needs to take over all traditional media. And we're not saying it's going to be the sport that beats all sports. It's not. But it's something alternative for people to enjoy. So we go that way.
I personally think that certain esports can and should be legitimized as Olympic events if they really wanted to go that route. I mean, if we're going to allow things like shooting a gun as an Olympic sport, I mean, is it really a stretch to say that, being able to play a video game very precisely, and with the coordination required to play like a team game like League of Legends is really that much different from, something that requires mechanically very little, work. It's like you talk about it doesn't really count as a sport if it's not physical, but I mean, like, it's not like holding a gun is that like physically demanding.
No. No.
So if we're gonna be permitting shooting events in the Olympics, then why not a game that involves, pressing 600 actions per minute or requires detailed, oral communication with your teammates. Something that can be physically demanding on your hands if you play it for, an hour continuously and the game's not going anywhere. There's a combination of physical and mental strain involved in a lot of the top high-end esports, and I don't really see any difference, to be perfectly honest.
Okay, you don't see the difference between shooting a gun. Okay, holding a gun is completely different to shooting a gun. Shooting a gun does take a lot more out of you than just holding it.
Right, and playing a game like StarCraft, for example, at a professional level takes a lot more out of you than just, playing it casually.
Yeah, it's two sides of the same coin, really, isn't it? They both do stuff in their different ways. Yeah, the dog agrees.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
I thought it was Duncan's dog.
No, my dog doesn't sound like that.
Taya's a bit upset. I don't know what's going on.
Fair enough. Right, let's get this last piece of news out, and then we can get this done. Then, so the last one, very quickly. BioWare have announced over the PAX weekend a demo date for Anthem.
Yes.
That demo date is February the 1st, 2019, and it will be limited to anyone on EA Access, Origin Access at either tier, or those who have already pre-ordered, you fools, the game.
You can pre-order it? I'd have done that already.
Gathered. But yeah, no, it's about time we actually got some sort of, concrete stuff on what's happening with Anthem. EA could actually do with some good news. Their pre-orders of Battlefield 5 were low, and not for the reason people are claiming.
Yeah,
which is woman on the front cover. No, it's because of their EA's attitude to microtransactions. But that's a different thing.
About Battlefield 5, by the way, it is delayed in its release. By the way,
yeah,
it is coming out in November instead of October.
Yeah, now that'll probably be because it matches with when Black Ops 4 is coming out.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. There must only be one brown shooter, but yeah. So that's that. Just
What is Anthem, by the way? I'm behind. I don't know what that is.
Okay, very quick one. It's what would you say, Steve? A co-op shooter like Destiny?
Destiny with battle suits.
Yeah.
Yes, Destiny with battle suits. In a sense, in the basic sense, with the same style and look as Mass Effect. For me, anyway.
Same conversational systems as well.
Yeah.
So think Mass Effect combined with Destiny in mech suits.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a hybrid in a way. It looks interesting and shows a lot of promise. But for me, my only issue is it's EA, and you know what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda. While I enjoyed that game, you also have to deal with the fact they're never going to release any more content for it, and it was broken on release.
Yeah. My face is still tired after it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I'm not pre-ordering that. Not for that much, anyway.
Oh, go on.
Standard edition is £55.
Oh
Bit too
no,
much.
and that's the standard edition, of which there will be about 4 other editions.
The
Could be worse.
Legend of Dawn edition is 70 quid.
70 quid, that's like 9,000 Canadian dollars.
No, it's just no. Just stop. I could get I could actually put a deposit down for a house, or choose to buy a game. At that point, I know. I'm over exaggerating, but
Hell yeah,
that's
that's
where
not
I'm-
Skyrim, you
One,
know.
one might go as far as to describe that as hyperbolic.
Yeah, well, hyperbole, exaggerations, two sides of the same coin. Now, so we are getting to nearly an hour and 5 minutes of recording time.
Yep.
So very, very quick wrap up on that, and very quick discussion of stuff as well. I am actually working on trying to get more content. I've opened content up to the entirety of Immaterial Gamers rather than just like Let's Plays and stuff like that. We're looking at going to add video reviews on there, opinion pieces, of which I am 2/3 of the way through writing one. I told you about Yakuza, and I'm going to keep going on that and get that on there soon. Steph is sort of teasing at stuff as well. From what
Minecraft
I heard
mini
before.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minecraft thing going on.
Yeah.
So we are definitely looking at getting the YouTube channel filled with more than just the podcasts. I mean, there are other gameplays from a couple of the other Immaterial gamers. So Chris, who's Corpse Walk, Hannah, who's Proxy Fish, they do have gameplay videos of stuff going on at the moment as well. I would recommend that they get checked out, but also to keep an eye on our channel to see what more stuff we're gonna do. And yeah, that's that. I am not going to turn around and say like and subscribe. Oh shit!
You've done it. You've gone and done it.
I have become that which I have hated.
And share on social media.
Yeah.
Tell your
Yeah.
friends.
Yeah, tell your
Don't
friends,
forget
tell your
Frank.
kids, tell your wife. And
Yeah.
Frank.
Yeah, and you can't forget Frank.
Is Frank going to help us?
Everyone loves pigs.
Fair. No, that is fair. That is very fair. All right, no. Right, we'll wrap that up. So thank you very much to everyone who's been on there. Steph, Duncan, Steve.
Okay.
Almost more than likely might end up seeing you next week. Maybe not. Maybe will. Who knows?
I'll be a student
Um,
next week. Maybe.
Yeah. And I've just went and done it again, haven't I? This is, you know what? Screw it. I'll just do it. This is Ryan, otherwise known as Notimagain, signing off. We will see you next week.
I wasn't going to say
Bye.
anything.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you later, alligator.
Jeez, I cannot believe it. An hour and 7 minutes. You know,